What's up, everyone? Cinephile Mike here, and it is day 61 of Oscar Rewind, my bi-weekly series of video commentary reflecting the work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. I'm digging deep into those IMDb profiles, and my hope is that you will discover a new, older favorite or revisit something you haven't seen in a while. As always, I'll be discussing the recent Oscar connection, awards history for the film, box office information, critical response, and as always, these reviews are spoiler-free. Now, before we jump in, do me a favor, make sure you click that subscribe button. You definitely don't want to miss any of the good stuff coming your way on the channel. So, we are in October, and this month it's all about the music and the nominees and winners who filled our ears with their tunes. Both of the films I'm looking at this week are French films, and both surround the same recent Oscar-winning flick. So the first of the two I'm looking at today is Strut Films and Je Tu Fais Fever. Co-written by the film's director Raphael, Neal, and Alice Zeniter, and based on the novel of the same name written by Leslie Kaplan, the film was released domestically in the summer of 2015 after its festival debut in 2014. Now, despite the information I found, there was a theatrical release, but no box office information was reported. Additionally, the film has no Rotten Tomatoes score. It shows 2 critical reviews, one positive, one negative, so I guess we could say it's a 50% critical response? No audience score, though. As for the award season journey for the film, it's very short. Raphael Neal was a Golden Zenith nominee at the Montreal World Film Festival, and at the Oldenburg Film Festival in Germany, the film won a Special Mention Best Film Award and was also nominated for the Audience Award. So let's talk about the connection. It's for Camille, the singer and songwriter who shows that Fever was her first feature film as the composer. She this year won one of her 3 Oscar nominations for Best Original Song for Emilia Perez. For the song El Mal, she won the prize that with her writing partner, Clement Ducol. I'll be talking about one of his films later this week. She also received a second nomination with Ducol for Mi Camino, and the 2 were also nominated for Best Original Score. Now, in Fever, Camille also has a credited performer credit in the film. So, that's a fun fact also here. So, let's get into this film. Kaplan's novel, which served as the source, is also a loose adaptation of the famed Leopold and Loeb case. Now, for those that may not be familiar, that case was a 1924 situation where 2 college students decided to kill a young boy to see if they could commit the perfect crime. Here, well, in the present here for this film, 2014, though the technology they have suggests slightly earlier 2000s, we have Damien, played by Martin Lozillon, and Pierre, played by Pierre Moret. These 2 are in high school, and they have an educational focus on philosophy. Based on their readings, Damien even states at one point that a random act of violence, for example, with no personal motive, has no blame. This is his view. He's sticking to it. Now, that fact comes later in the film. It just kind of puts you in the mindset of these 2. At the start, in the blackout, we hear the angst of a woman that we learn is actually being killed. As the blackout fades away, we see Damien and Pierre bounding out of an apartment building and bumping into Zoe, played by Julie-Marie Parmentier, who works as a sales associate at the glasses shop across the street from the apartment. Pierre drops a black glove that she picks up. Not thinking much of it, she holds on to it, only to have her suspicions raised when she hears a news report about the murder of the woman in the apartment. Now, she believes it was these 2 boys, but she doesn't call it in. Leading her rather mundane, ordinary life as she feels, she actually finds some excitement looking into this crime, almost seeming as if she wants to involve herself with these 2 men. And this is an encounter that will repeat as she keeps kind of running into the 2 of them. Meanwhile, as Damien and Pierre try to process what they did and deal with the guilt that comes after, we are left to see if these 2 will actually get away with what they believe was the perfect crime, all the while wondering what the impact will be when they have an even more intimate encounter with Zoe, and as a result, could Zoe possibly be their next victim? So, this is not the first film that we have that's seen tackled the 1924 case. One of the earliest was Alfred Hitchcock's 1958 film Rope. One of the more recent was Aaron Warr's American Criminals, which looked at Leopold and Loeb, of a biopic. For me, it echoed most Barbette Schroeder's 2002 cat and mouse suspense thriller Murder by Numbers. And that one had the two young high school students, played by Ryan Gosling and Michael Pitt, murdering a woman and playing games with the detectives going after them, the detective played by Sandra Bullock. However, this film is less thriller than psychological drama, as we see how this act has its repercussions on the murderers, which is not kept secret, and the woman who's brought into their orb. It's an interesting concept, but the film is a little surface level. It could be that maybe that runtime is too condensed. It's about 76 minutes or so, so we're really unable to go on a full journey with these characters. I mean, Neal smartly dispatches with having to make the audience sit through the act, thankfully. Normally we get this, and the fact that we don't see it makes the mystery a little more appealing. Wondering how Damien and Pierre committed this act. We also quickly get the clue in the glove dropped and picked up by Zoe at the start, so we don't have to waste time, getting to all of these ramifications. It just seems glossed over, which is a little disappointing. I mean, at times we see that Damien is totally fine and having his moments, and then we juxtapose to Pierre having moments. We get a little bit of insight into Zoe's life, and we can infer why she's fascinated with the case, but again, it's not fully fleshed out. What I will say helps it is there are really grounded performances, and with the material they're given, they actually do a lot. The core trio has a fair amount of screen presence. I have to say, and this could be, it was a first-time director, right? Fever Mark Neal's first feature debut as a writer and a director, and his sole credit to this point. It's a valiant first effort. It made me wanting more, especially the ending, which for me felt a little abrupt. As for Camille, the reason that we are here, she composes some actually very unique music, but it often seems to underscore a different type of movie than what we get sometimes. However, I will say she has a haunting rendition of the musical standard, Fever. Fever in the morning. I don't know why I'm singing. It has some unique placements in the film, and her vocals actually do give quite the shiver at the moment. Now, in the film, she portrays famed singer Alice Snow, who Pierre, Damien, and their classmates, and Zoe are all fans of. As we go through the film, you see posters and CDs pop up throughout the film of Camille as Alice, so that's a fun little drop in there. Look, the concept here was very interesting, and I was hoping to get something a little more substantial out of it, but alas, not the case. It isn't even really that impactful enough to, be thinking about it after I post this review, actually. It's kind of one of those, oh yeah, I saw that. It's not bad, it's mid-ground. So you know what? It's a mid-level, it's a 3-star film. A lot of missed opportunities, but good performances, a great first attempt by the, co-writers and the director. If you were curious to check this one out, you can find it, and look, it's short. It's about 80 minutes. As of this recording and posting, it is currently streaming on Tubi with ads. So that's where we're going to leave this one. Later this week, we will be looking at another French film credited to Camille's Emilia Perez partner, Clément Ducol, on Friday. So make sure you come back for that. As always, if you like what you heard here, please click that button, subscribe to the channel, like the video, spread the word. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. Find lots of great additional cinematic goodness on my website, cinephilemike.com. All right, happy watching, everyone, and until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.